Hey, there we are. It's asking me to set up my goal. I'll do that on my iPad. I'm at the sofa today, so there's Jackie in the background. Our local bald eagles. Turn her down. Don't know if you guys can hear that through the Wi-Fi. Hey, Kathy Mallory. You're the first one here. Just me, myself, I, and you. I'm gonna do a quick live from my sofa, actually, since my new tripod kind of makes my head too low. And I can raise the desk chair, as Jay suggested, but when I do that, my legs don't fit underneath the desk. So I'm just gonna give it a few. Let me tilt this a little bit. There we go. I have the Tucson desert background with the saguaro cacti. Let's give it a few. Pretty soon I'm gonna have to try something else. Get back to making the long form content. Can anybody see and hear me? I might have to go later, but I've got some things to do around here that need to get done. And I didn't get to the mailbox today to see if any of the Amazon gifts arrived because I've already been there twice this week. Hey, 11 people, welcome in. I'm April Davis, PI. I'm a licensed private investigator in Los Angeles, California. And I've been reporting on the Nancy Guthrie missing person case since February the 2nd. Kathy, I saw Brian about an hour ago. It seems that they are running out of clues. Yes, I heard that. Uh, yeah. Uh-oh. Sosa, are you going to behave yourself today, Sosa? I'm going to give it a minute. Yeah, we had to take you out yesterday. Okay, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for that strike. Okay, let's talk about Nancy Guthrie. What is it, day number 88 now? Hey, 19 people watching. That's cool. 19 people. Oh, now it's down to 12. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it. And then I'm gonna have to pull that trigger. Gosh, we haven't even started yet. Sosa? I'm so glad though that you're just waiting for me to go live. So, has anybody seen the channel J for Justice? He's one of the boots on the ground that's back out there in front of Nancy's house across the street. And last night or yesterday afternoon, he had an encounter with this person. I've heard about him before, James. Has anybody seen James or know who this guy is? Is he a neighbor or is he just a Tucson local? Comes walking up. He's very agitated and he's asking for someone named Brian Guthrie. Yeah, not Brian Enton, Brian Guthrie. Says he's going to solve this effing thing tonight or this effing crime tonight. And he's all like, I could tell right away, like, oh boy, here we go. And I thought that the YouTuber who I've obviously heard of Jay for Justice, but I don't watch him regularly. He handled the situation very well. But the guy seemed very agitated. And then in the comments, people were saying, "Oh, it's him, it's him, it's the porch guy. He looks just like him." But I looked at the guy's face, and he doesn't look anything like porch guy. Yeah, there is no Brian Guthrie. But the guy was super, super agitated, and he's like, "I know he was here. I just saw him. I know he was here." He was looking for Brian Enton, but he kept saying he was looking for Brian Guthrie, and that his ADD was like in full force or whatever. And you know, he seemed like he was very angry, and you know, we're gonna solve this effing thing tonight or whatever he said. And it was just like, oh boy. And then when they said his name, like in some of the later videos where they were showing this, they mentioned that his name is James. And I've heard my audience mention a James before. So does anybody here that's watching now know who James is? Apparently he's come through there before on foot. So possibly he lives nearby, or he just parks down the street, because I know they weren't letting outsiders park there for a while. Hello to the second Kathy. Welcome in. Kathy Mowry and Kathy, uh, we'll just say Kathy 5. So also, yesterday's video, I did mention, wow, 19 people. Give me a thumbs up, everybody. Hit those red hearts. Hey, Jay. So there's another FBI profiler, and not the one we talked about yesterday, Jim Clemente, but another one that I just read several news articles on. And he says that he believes that Nancy Guthrie definitely knew her abductor. Now, I think if there's 2 to 3 people involved here and there's a group, Kathy number 3. Okay, we got Kathy number 1, which is Kathy Mowry, Kathy X50, Kathy number 2, and Kathy with a C. Wow, all the Kathys. So many Kellys, Kathys, and Karens. What is it? Anyway, welcome in, everybody. This FBI profiler thinks that she knew her abductor because this person knew the house and knew the doors and the gates and, you know, where the cameras were located, also felt comfortable staying in the house. I think that if this is not somebody connected to what I call the Savannah factor, that it is somebody within her small reach, like family, neighbors, a friend, uh, highly likely someone who's worked in her home, whether it be on the outside, the inside, a contractor, a caregiver, uh, a landscaper, a pool man, an Uber driver, a delivery person, a repairman, someone possibly in the neighborhood that was having work done on their homes. There's always strange cars in well-to-do neighborhoods because there's people that come in to have work done during the day. You see that all the time in LA, in the upper end neighborhoods where the streets are totally full. They're packed with work vans and work trucks. I do agree with this person that she probably at least knows who's behind this, but I would think if you were the mastermind and you knew her and you were trying to get money out of this situation, that you would obviously send hired bad guys like Fargo, like, the husband, he's going to kidnap his wife, but she's not supposed to be harmed. So he hires bad guys and things go incredibly wrong quickly. And, half of Fargo ends up deceased by the end of the movie. But he's saying that she recognized the face of the abductor in the home. Kathy says, people lie so much in this case. I am watching you and Brian for info. Thank you, Kathy. And somebody asked me in a comment, I haven't got back to it yet. Somebody sent me a comment today saying, what do you think of Brian Enton? And I like Brian Enton. Oh, hey, Jane Rice. Welcome back in, my friend. Yeah, I like Brian Enton, and I like his style of reporting. Apparently, he is back in Tucson. I knew that yesterday. And he went and talked to a lady who was a neighbor. I'm not sure, like, does she just live on the street, across the street, next door? Well, she's not across the street because across the street, there's just that empty lot. And then there's that cul-de-sac up on the hill where the lady was gifted the house from her parents. Well, not gifted, but was sold to her for $10. And she doesn't actually live there. So I know it's not that corner, but and it's not the neighbor behind that had the dogs, but there's a woman, and she's been receiving mail now for Brian Etten. And he apologized to her, and apparently she turned it over to the FBI, and an FBI agent, because I guess she opened it and it was weird, kind of like some of the weird manifesto emails I'm getting now. Like, oh boy. And I don't have enough paper and ink to print them all out. I was doing that at the beginning, and then I realized, like, wait, whoa, whoa, I'm spending way too much money on paper, and my ink's going to run out soon, and that's probably another $100. Like, no. And the important ones I've been keeping or saving, but the rest of them I've just, when it's like the manifesto style emails, I delete. And apparently it was some weird stuff. So she called the FBI. They came out and met with her, and she apparently said that the FBI is working very hard to solve this case. Her name is Aileen. Okay. Yeah, that's her. Let's see. Also, someone had recently asked me about how come the 911 calls were not released and that they have to be released as public information. Well, not in an active homicide investigation. And remember, the same day that the deputies came out from Pima County, they immediately saw that things were off, and they did say that there was blood inside the home. Now that's being retracted, that it was only outside the home, but I'm still not 100% sure that they didn't find some evidence of blood inside the home. There was something besides the blood on the porch that made them realize, like, something really bad happened here. This isn't just a silver alert kind of situation where a senior, who had dementia or something walked out of her house. Her mind was perfectly clear. It was evidence that somebody came up to her house, went into her bedroom, and literally drug her out of the bed without her shoes, her clothes, her purse, her wallet, her keys, her phone, her meds. She was taken. Um, so the 911 call, as far as when Annie and Tommaso got tipped off by, at first they reported a member of her congregation that she had gone to church, but actually she doesn't physically go to the church. She goes to a neighbor's house to watch a live stream from Savannah's church in Manhattan. She didn't show up for that. And so the lady who had the meeting that Sunday, she was the one who called Annie Tommaso and said she didn't show up. Now, the timeline has changed at least 2 or 3 times by the sheriff. But when they got there, and there's also a question as to how long they were at the house, Annie Tommaso, before they dialed 911, they're not going to release what's on that 911 call because this is an active criminal investigation that's most likely a homicide. Either it was intended as a homicide from the beginning, or it was a kidnapping gone wrong and they didn't take her meds, and she was injured, she had a heart attack, whatever, she died. Um, oh, thank you, Jane. This is my Minnesota Twins shirt, which I'm falling in love with because they sent it to me, and it has the cancer awareness patch, which is so cool. And the baseball mail's gone very, very slow lately. So I'm wondering why that is. Kathy says he interviewed a man today. He seemed to know about police work. They're gathering signatures to get no Nads out, but it has been a hard road to go. And it will be a hard road to go to remove him from office. Oh, Jane Rice was born there? Minnesota? Awesome, Jane. Yeah, I have a new respect for the Minnesota Twins now. So, yeah, they're not going to release that call because there's identifying information about the crime. Because whether it was Tommaso who called or Andy that called, they're like, hey, we want to report a missing person. They probably said something like, one of the doors was broken down, or there's blood here, or there's signs of a struggle, or, they said something relating to the crime that only they and the police would know. And if they were to release that call to the public, that could be considered a witness tipping off a suspect. They want to keep that quiet because there's things that the family knows and the police knows that obviously came out immediately the morning of the first in the 911 call, that if they were to release that to the public, that would be too much information. That's why they're also not going to release the ransom notes, because they felt that the first two, at least the FBI, once they got involved, remember, after the crime scene, had already been released by nanos, bananos, nonads, whatever you want to call them, Barney Fife, he released the crime scene. Then the FBI comes in and they say, hey, we've got some legit ransom notes. Savannah hasn't seen them, but they think those first two, asking for the 4 million in Bitcoin and then the 6 million, they think those were legit. And those notes say things in them that only the perpetrator or perpetrators would know, allegedly. Same thing with the 911 call. There's things in that call that only somebody who's involved or was at the scene after this happened would know. So we're never going to get those transcripts or hear that audio unless somebody is caught and tried and it's a piece of evidence in a trial. Pauline says, I haven't watched in a while. Is she dead? Well, they haven't found her yet, but I do believe that she passed within the first 24 to 48 hours. But no, they haven't found her. So uh, she's presumably passed away. It is a shame for the family, and my heart goes out to Savannah. And there's a lot of debate going on about her right now. And by the way, just to clear something up about Savannah, and we're not going to get into politics here, but you know what happened a few nights ago in DC. Unless you're living under a rock, everybody knows what happened. And the suspect who has been arrested for that incident, I repeat, is not a driver for Savannah Guthrie, and his wife is not an assistant for Savannah Guthrie. That guy is from Torrance, California. She's just so much a celebrity now, even more than she was before, that she's at the top of everybody's list right now. Multiple celebrities have been accused of hiring the same man and his wife. Not true. And that's all I'm going to say about that. The 911 call was released for General McCaslin. No reason to hold on to the call. Oh, do you mean Nancy's call? I think with Annie or Tommaso, I think there's every reason. And that's because I've worked cases where sometimes the 911 calls are released right away and sometimes they're not, or they have to be subpoenaed. But no, that is absolutely sealed right now, as it should be. The bad thing is you can't get closure from presumably. I know. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, Savannah gets livid with people, even in her own news industry, in her inner circle, apparently, if someone even suggests that her family is involved. And I know from a conscious level, she truly believes that her family is not involved. But I gotta wonder if subconsciously it's gone through her mind, because I don't feel that she was that close to her siblings. I just don't think that she was. You know, most siblings grow up, they go do their own career, they have their own families, their own friends. You know, she lives in New York, her brother lives in Vermont. Um, Her sister and brother-in-law live in Tucson. They were the primary caregivers for the mother. Savannah was very close to the mom. Doesn't mean that she was close to her sister. So um, you will take that hat. No, but it is a nice hat. Hi, Karen Bitcove. Another Karen. Oh my gosh. We only have one Karen in here right now, but I have so many Karens. Karen Unson, Karen, who is one of my mods, hearts. We have 3 or 4 Kellys now, 3 Kathys. That's amazing. Lots of A's and K's in my family, too. So they need to release it now. They will not release that now, and I wouldn't either. And I wouldn't even have had those press conferences that Nanos has had and, declare certain people cleared. And he almost gets, teary eyed. And speaking of his eyes, I just noticed this for the first time. I was going through some of my thumbnails and some of the pictures that I save in my phone. And I had to laugh about it because I don't think he's involved. But have you seen the eyes on Porch Guy? And I'm not talking about the effeminate metrosexual eyebrows or the eyelashes, but if you look at the eyes and it's hard to see because he's got that either a pen light or a bite light in his mouth, and it's reflecting off the camera lens and bouncing back into his eyes. But if you look at those eyes, they look like an older person, and they look kind of bloodshot and red. Like, was it somebody that was sleepy? Was it somebody that was intoxicated? But if you look at those eyes and look at some of my thumbnails where I have put a picture of Nanos, the eyes itself, not the eyelashes or the brows, they kind of look the same. And I was like, I never noticed that before. And remember, he's reported to the press and pressers, they call them press conferences or pressers in the news industry. He's been saying that when he got the call on Saturday, January 31st, like that's the last time the woman was seen, but they didn't get the call until the afternoon of Sunday, February 1st. So yeah, that's just, and he's never backpedaled on that or retracted that or said, oh, I made a mistake, or I still can't explain that. That's just weird. The other two left. Oh, the other Cathys? Well, we got 28 people in here, so everybody is welcome. Hey, Kelly Ray, another K. We've had three Cathys in here, a Karen, and now one of the three Kellys. I've got three Karens, three Cathys, four Kellys now. Can't even remember who the fourth one is. They just look at this. Just go down the list. Look at all these Ks. This is crazy. Karen Bitkov, I have not seen you before, but welcome in. Where are you coming in from? I hope you're doing or feeling better, Kelly. I know you've had a rough few weeks. And same goes for your cat, because I read that somewhere about the cat. But I won't discuss it here, but I hope everything's okay. So yeah, the 911 call is not going to be released anytime soon. And for those that say that they have to, no, they don't. Yeah, I got K's across the whole family. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Oh, and I did mention earlier that the baseball mail has slowed down. And I've noticed that a lot of the teams are not using the self-addressed stamped envelopes, but the ones that are stuffing more than 78 cents worth of mail into those envelopes, and they're not able to scan. And I bet some of those self-addressed stamped envelopes that have been overstuffed went into the scanner and got ripped or something. And I wonder how many of these envelopes that I'm never going to get. Or they did use their own envelope and someone in the post office saw, like, oh, this is from the Dodgers or this is from the Yankees, and it was taken, especially if it was a box. I just found out yesterday that a doctor bill that I paid a month ago for my second surgery of 2026, yeah, I had to pay a big copay on that because it wasn't at the hospital. It was at a surgery center. They said they never got it. And I know the day I wrote the check number, which mailman I handed it to, wire checks disappearing in the mail. Now I have to check my account every day to make sure someone's not robbing my account, which is a pain. Uh, I'm wondering if some of the baseball mail is lost or it was ripped. And speaking of baseball, I know this is about Nancy, but if anybody follows the Angels, yeah, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, yeah, that's the dumbest name ever, and nobody here calls them that. It's just been discovered this week that at one of their concessions, and they have like over 100 concession stands in that stadium, that one of them has been invaded by rats, and it was shut down by the Orange County Health Department. So, yuck, ick, gross. Can you imagine going to a baseball game in one of the concession stands where they are selling your food and your drinks, and you're out there experiencing baseball? You paid for the parking, your seat, the food, and it's been infested by rats. Like, that has actually happened, and I'm sure they didn't want that press to get out. That is unacceptable to me. And I know that California, especially Los Angeles, is like the rat capital of the world, but that should have never been allowed to happen. And they said it's only one concession out of like 120 or something. There might even be more. If one concession has it, the whole stadium has probably been infested. What I'm saying is just stay away from Anaheim Stadium till they get this straightened out. Um, let's see. I do direct payments from the bank. Yeah, it's very rare that I have to write a check. Uh, it is gross, isn't it? Yuck. I just like for my baseball people out there, I had to mention that today. If you're a Californian or you're an Angelina or you're down in the OC, as we call it up in LA, yeah, it's almost like another country between LA and Orange County. And I kid you not. And Orange County is a great place, but I could never picture myself living there. And I know it's famous for Disney, but Disney actually sits in a horrific high crime area. Like it's bad. Like you don't even want to stay at the hotels outside of the property. Um, I mean, some of the worst cases I have ever had have happened in Anaheim. I had a lady that worked for me years ago, and she was shot in Anaheim. Like it's the pits. That guy, that David, oh my God, I can't even talk about this. The guy that got burned in the hotel by his father, who I actually knew that kid before he died. Like that happened in Anaheim. Anaheim is just it's pretty bad, but yet it would cost you $1 million to buy a house 10 minutes from Disneyland. Um, I know a lot of people within the police department down there, and that stadium, it's old, it's very nice looking. Sits right in between two freeways. I've passed it many times during pursuits. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't go there right now. I mean, I wouldn't go there anyway because I'm an Angelino, but that just really that story popped today for me. The Nancy Guthrie thing, nothing I haven't heard before, except for the guy James that was seen by this J for Justice, and he was, all in a frenzy yesterday, saying that he was looking for a Brian Guthrie. Uh, Not all the way there. If anybody here knows who that guy is, let me know in the chat. Then the second FBI profiler who now says it was somebody that she knew. Because remember, the first FBI profiler, Jim Clemente, which I've mentioned many times, he's the one who says it was a single person. And I respectively agree to disagree with that. But 911 call, that is not going to be released. Yeah, especially in LA, Kathy. Hey everyone, says V Miss. Welcome back. Kathy says she has Pro Shield security. Let's see. New York is an island, so the rats have no place else to go. Yeah, LA has more rats than Manhattan Island, Kelly. Nope, not anymore. You're a Tigers fan. I don't think I've heard from the Tigers yet. I'm doing an experiment with Major League Baseball, and I've got like 8 teams that have responded. And the last one that responded was the Miami Marlins. And they are actually in the process of leaving town right now. They came in here and took a series from LA, the world champions. Yep. Miami Marlins, one of the poorest teams in baseball, just came into LA and embarrassed the Dodgers. Yeah. They had an early game today because it was a travel day. Like, yikes. Um, Talk about a double World Series hangover. We got some problems. Uh-oh, here it is. I was expecting Sosa to say that, pretty princess, but I'm so glad you came in because, now my monetization is turned on. Feel free to go to the Amazon wish list. It's on my main channel page. Click the Amazon link and invest in that Colgate dental pen. I will highly appreciate it. In fact, I'll even shout you out I'll give you a hype horn when I receive that at my mailbox in Studio City. But for now, I'm gonna have to take you out. You can be busy ordering that dental product for me on Amazon. That's so funny. It doesn't bother me at all, people, really. So many people responded to comments or made comments in yesterday's videos saying, or video, I think there was one yesterday, saying, "Oh, that's so mean and that's so cruel." I'm a detective in Los Angeles. I'm a Hollywood PI. Everything rolls off me. I had a rough childhood being a redhead and being a Yankee who was a California transplant who spent my primary school years in the deep, deep South. Trust me, I've heard it all. Oh, and I've spent so much money at the dentist this month. January was heart surgery number 2. February was kidney surgery number 1. Then March, another emergency room hospitalization, infections, probably related to the kidney surgery. Then April, all the dental stuff, and I still have one more procedure to go, but I don't have the $1,800. And today I got this letter. Get this every year. The letter. You can't see it through the green screen, but it was taped to the door. And I saw that, just had taken out the trash. Was thinking about doing the laundry and then going live. And I saw the letter, and apparently the rent is going up another $49.82. And I already can't afford it now on my Social Security disability between my cancer, my back, and my heart. So, yeah. Oh, and I opened up the mail I got yesterday, the mail with my new identity, April Davis Platt. There's such uplifting messages, but whoever did this, please get my name off that list. I appreciate all the cards and the letters and the stickers and the smiley faces, but I'm not a senior, not yet. I'm several years away from that, if I live that long, and I'm not um, suffering from depression. So, but I do appreciate the cards. I've saved them all. I'm going to keep them for as long as I can. But that's like 3 or 4 trips to the mailbox now where I've got to like pry the mail out. And usually I only go every week to 10 days, but I've been going more often because I've received so many gifts from you guys. Like, so I go to the mailbox to pick them up. And, the longer they stay there, the higher the pickup fees will be. So I need to bring like pliers to pull the mail out of the little business box. Yours went up 200. Well, see, I'm in under rent control. Uh, oh gosh, Kathy, that sounds like a bargain. Where are you located, Kathy? Oh gosh, bargain, Kelly Ray. Wow, that's steep from 2012. Yeah. At this point, I should have just kept my properties. My properties in Studio City, properties plural. Should have just kept those. But one of them had a $500 association fee right across the street from CBS. But they offered earthquake insurance. But you know what? Don't want it if you've got to pay 500 plus 550 a month in HOA dues, and the mortgage is not much more than that. So, but I outgrew it. It was like the size of a garage. I had a hard time getting the loan to pass, um, even with tons of money coming in at the time. But it was sweet because I was the only person in the whole building that had side by side parking, and that's when I bought my second Mustang that had all the bells and the whistles, and I could park right in the middle. Oh. Oh, you used to live in Missouri. I remember that, Kelly. Yours has a 200 HOA. That's not bad. So, anybody want to say anything, add anything about Nancy, which is why we're here, day number 88. And once again, by the way, Savannah is not related to the person that caused the incident at the Washington Hilton a few nights ago. Let's just get that clear. She is not, he's not a driver for her. His wife is not her assistant. And no, Savannah and Nancy and Annie are not related to Kayla Day. Let's just let's just put the kaposh. What is it? On those rumors. We're just those are done. Anybody know who this James is that was filmed last night or yesterday afternoon by Jay for Justice? I've heard the name a lot. The kibosh. That's right. I was trying to say, Kelly. See, YouTube is so hard, especially at my senior age in this depressed state, suffering from my yellow teeth. The pros and cons of monetization. But I have to say that I've really enjoyed this ride that I've been on for the last, couple of months. Uh, and if it weren't for all you guys, I would have never made it to that point. So, but nobody's watching the long form content, and I am going to get out and film those. And if nobody watches them, I'm just going to make them for myself. I'm not going to expect that this channel is going to make me some grocery money every month. Living under a rock here, says Jay. Oh gosh. Hello, Pauline. Uh, what other choice is there? I've had the worst circumstances in my life than probably anybody here. But you know what? We've all got something and we're all here to support. And you can look at it as the glass is half empty, or you can look at things as the glass is half full. And I'm loving all my new dental work. Remember, I've been very behind on things because, since the cancer recovery, then I got struck with the death of a friend and all that I had to handle. And yes, I had to handle most of it. And then the 17 hospitalizations for my literally, or literal, I should say, broken heart. But I'm still alive. You just got in from surgery and saw me. Oh, wow. Are you okay, Pauline? 28 people here. I got 17 thumbs up. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? And if you're not subscribed, please do so. In fact, let me check the current subscription count has already gone up to 2,663. Lost a couple yesterday, but that's a normal thing on YouTube as long as it continues to go up. I just had recently hit 2,000, like maybe a month ago. I'll have to look. So, um, that's steadily going up. But if I could get it that high that quickly after 2,000 subs, I think I could hit 3,000. So everybody, share the channel. Let's get it up to 3,000 subs. Um, let's see. Hard to remember or imagine a family member doing something like that. Oh, you mean the Nancy case? Hey, there's an April in here. Now, I definitely have not seen you before because I've never had an April come in to any of my lives. Welcome in, and where are you coming in from, April? Hey, Will Byers, welcome back. Oh, it's there. There's a thumbs up button, like a like button. Hey, Jeannie. Jeannie Lamberti, welcome back. Yeah, that'll give the hearts, I think, or will that give a thumbs up? See your screen, you guys watching, you're seeing a different screen than I'm seeing. Wow, another April. You're from Ohio. I'm in California, April. So we have all the K's in here and the J's. Jay and Jane and Jenny. Got like 4 Kellys now and 3 or 4 Kathys now. Oh, you found it. Thank you, Pauline. I hope you are subscribed to my channel And you guys make sure you watch my long form content videos, especially the Nancy Guthrie suspect video. That'll teach you a lot. And there's plenty of playlists on all different types of subjects that you guys can watch, whatever you're interested in. But there's a ton of videos on this case, and most of them are an hour to 2 hours long. So you could just go to the true crime playlist or the Nancy Guthrie playlist or even the news playlist and just hit play all, and you'd have hours and hours of content to listen to in the background. I don't run into many Aprils either. I met one who was a friend of my sister's when I was a little kid, but that was many, many years ago. I've never met any Aprils besides that. That's not a very common name. My cat and rabbit are both sleeping right now. Amazing. Because last night everybody was going crazy. Everybody was chewing and like, oh, I need wet food. And everybody's like super chill today. Oh, thank you, Kathy. April, and if you can afford it. Oh, and if you can afford it, see, it's a very tiny screen. Please become a member, like, subscribe, and share. Yeah. Or hype the video. It doesn't cost anything to hype it if you have those free points from YouTube. That does make us special. Are you a redhead too? Mine doesn't look red anymore due to chemo, but it was always a topic of discussion. Where did I get my name? Was I born in April? And where did I get my red hair? But I was never harassed over my name. I was just always harassed over my hair or my poor eyesight that I had until just a few years ago, and now I just have readers. But I can see a plane flying from Anchorage to Guadalajara, Mexico every afternoon that flies over LA. I can see the cargo plane and count the engines, and it's at about 40,000 feet. That's how well I can see. Oh, Lady Shore, where can she hit the like button? She wants to know. Somebody who's watching on your end, can you let Lady Shore know where to hit the like button? And thanks for watching the replays, Lady Shore. I've been seeing your comments. Matthew Tupper, I'm doing good. How are you, Matt? 24 people, 20 thumbs up. Smack the like button. Your son was born in April, but you named him Michael. Thank you, Lady Shore. Yeah, does anybody know who this James is that this J for Justice got on video yesterday? And he showed up at the scene in front of Nancy's house and he was very agitated. Apparently, he's been seen before. He just walks up on foot and he asked for a Brian Guthrie, not Brian Enton. He's like, I know he's here. Where is he? I need to talk to him. And he was all like, in a frenzy. And he said, I started throwing the F bombs. I'm going to solve this effing crime tonight. And my ADD is he said, my ADD is very high or ramped up or whatever he said. He was just like all over the place. And I think the YouTuber who I've heard his name before, but I don't really watch him, at least not often, he handled it very well, I thought. Oh, April says, I was born in April, just turned 56 and going more of a white. You mean the hair? Yeah, like we don't go gray, we go white. Hasn't happened to me yet. There's a few whites in there, but not many. At the top right, I found the like button. Well, thank you, Lady Shore. Kathy, I'm 65 and my hair is still dark blonde. Nice. White hair, I didn't clarify that. I knew what you meant, though, because I'm a redhead. Lady Shore, yes, he's been there a few times, started a while back. I'm not sure who he is. Yeah, I've heard the name. Several people have mentioned his name, James. But yet now they're showing pictures of guys that are walking their dogs, or they're showing people all throughout Tucson that are carrying backpacks, or guys that are going on front porches at night. Because remember when this happened and they told everybody to look at your Ring video or your doorbell, your Nest video, all these people started looking at their security videos and going, oh my God, I was on vacation and this guy was on my porch and this guy looks like front porch guy. Or, oh, look at the guy that was wearing the backpack that had the bald head and he was in a parking lot. There was a lot of cars around him and he was trying to get through a locked gate, like probably at an apartment or a condo or something. Like those kind of videos are showing up everywhere. And then there's been more attention paid now to the homeless that are living in the canals and in the tunnels. Apparently, there are tunnels in Tucson. And due to the what I call the 6 degrees of separation on all the suspects, because there are suspects, even though they say there are suspects in this case. There is a list on this case. Everyone seems to be related in this town. Everybody seems to be connected through the 6 degrees of separation. Heck, even our friend Derek out in Hawthorne, he's apparently uh, connected to Tommaso. Allegedly, reportedly, or it's speculative. Remember, we learned that word from Nanos. I like to use that word a lot now. Speculative. Remember, DJ Mojito is the same promoter for Derek in LA who had Annie and Tommaso's personal cell phone number. And he sent the ransom text and then called one of them on the phone. I'm like, hey, how about what about the Bitcoin? I'm waiting to finish the transaction on this end. Like, people seem to think that they actually know each other. And considering that he very easily had both of their numbers and had the balls, should I say, to actually call them on the phone, like, hey, hey, what's up? Like, it makes me wonder. Um, oh, Kelly Ray has a birthday next week. Oh, make sure, Will, that you ask your mom or your dad or your legal guardian if you can be in here. Thanks for pointing that out, Kathy. Yeah, it actually says in my video description that this channel is not for kids, or I don't really picture someone of your age, a child, but under the law, yes. So make sure that you have permission from a parent. It is really sus that he texted and called them for sure, and he knew their numbers. And people are like, oh, well, you can get that from Been Verified on the internet. Well, those types of sites are database brokers. They're not PIs, they're not PI databases. They're old information that are gathered by information brokers. They're not PIs. Most of the information is outdated and invalid. And he was able to call them and text them right away. And because tomato, Tommaso, Tommy, whatever you want to call them, and Annie, they were under intense scrutiny at that moment from the police and the FBI. Of course, they had to come forward and say, "Hey, we just got these texts and we got this call." You know, uh, but it seems like Tucson is such a small town. But then we have our new friend that came in here, a simple gal at heart, and she lives in Tucson, has for I guess most of her life. And she also lives in Nancy's neighborhood in the Catalina foothills. And she said that Tucson, although it'd be small compared to like Los Angeles, that it's not really that small. But there's so many coincidences in this case where all these different characters that are coming into the soap opera, the actors that I call them, they all seem to be connected. And if you look at some of my former live streams or you look at my suspect video, you can kind of connect the dots. Syrup! Thank you, my friend. Let me get that screen up on my iPad so I don't have to knock my phone over. Where's my chat? Oops. I keep getting commercials on my iPad where the chat's supposed to be. Let me bring up the live chat. Oh, another one. I got to catch up, Sarah. Thank you so much, my man. My friend. Yeah, today and tomorrow are the last days to make money for the the first check since remonetization that will come at the end of May. So we're off. Thank you for the buck 90 in Israeli shekels. That is so cool. Up. Oh my gosh, I'm losing track, Sarah. All my babies, my fur babies are sleeping right now. They're like, "Oh no." Hey, Blue Catskills. Welcome in. Oh my gosh. Sarah! Remember, I gotta buy those dental pens soon. Actually, any of the money that I make from this channel, from the monetization, is going to help pay me back for the $3,000 to $5,000 I've already spent on the channel, even before I invest in any more equipment. Sarah! Not necessary, my friend. I'm so glad you came in yesterday, though, because I was genuinely, from my heart, worried about you. But I also know that there's a 10-hour time difference between the West Coast and where you're located. Sarah! Hey, we met the goal. Thank you so much, sir. It doesn't let me heart it when the confetti is falling down on the screen. There we go. Yeah, I do say that in the lives. We have the rule list now, Kathy, and that is no politics, no religion, no bullying, uh, no arguments during the chat, or everybody involved will be taken out no matter who is or isn't at fault. And this channel, if you do look at the channel description, it will say that this video is not for kids. Now, I can't control anybody that comes in with their mother or their father's cell phone or iPad or they go on. But I do say that if you are a minor, um, make sure that you get permission from your parents or your guardian. But I'm not the Amazon police here. And this is a very sensitive subject because this is involving a missing person who was either kidnapped, abducted, or possibly an intentional unaliving. So I'm an adult and I just used paintings from when I was younger, says Blue Catskills. Yeah, we weren't referring to you, Blue Catskills. We were referring to our friend Will Byers. He's been a nice friend of the channel, but still, you know, I said it from day one. Like if you're a minor, you have to get permission from your parents. Yeah, not you, Blue Catskills. And if you are, just keep your mouth shut about it because I don't want to know. Thank you so much, Sarah. You have. You got kicked off? How did that happen, Kathy? We got Kathy Mowry, Kathy 5, and Kathy with a C. What is 550 a month? What did I miss, Jay? Are they closer to catching the perp? I don't know because there's no new evidence or clues coming in. There's no new leads. They're waiting on the hair sample that, for 3 months of wasted time was sitting in Florida. And you can only blame that one on bananos, nanos, nanods, nonads, whatever you want to call them. That should have never, that evidence should have never gone to that lab in Florida. It should have gone to the FBI. And then if the FBI couldn't get it, they would send it to the private lab in San Francisco. That's the only lab in the country that has the ability to look for what they're looking for in the rootless hair that's a mixed DNA sample. Oh, you had to reboot. That's just the way it is. That should have never been allowed to happen. There's been too much valuable time lost. Now, would it have made a difference? In this case, maybe not, especially if she passed within the first 24 to 48 hours. But still, just look at the misery that the family has had to go through. The friends, the neighbors, the loved ones. Yeah, he shouldn't even have his job right now, but that's a different story. What are all these little crowns that pop up? What does that mean? So yeah, we had the James situation yesterday, and no, he's not the guy in the mask at the front door. The second FBI profiler that we've talked about who says she knows the abductor, like the one that was in the house. And somebody was very comfortable to be there for at least 41 minutes. And I'm still going to stick with my theory that there's a group involved here. This was very well planned and executed. Uh, but I think the guy at the front door, front porch guy, is just a hired lackey based on how he rubbed the plants all over the camera. And no, the 911 call will not be released during an active criminal potential homicide investigation. That's definitely not going to be released. And if you're in California, just off topic here, and you're a baseball person like me, but I'm an Angelino, I'm a Dodger person, and I'm too disabled or too poor to go to a Dodger game anyway for years now because of my health. But if you happen to live in California and you want to go to Anaheim Stadium and you get a little hungry while you're sitting out there in that fresh California air, you can smell that sea air and you're like, I think I need a hot dog right now, or I need a Coke, or a big bucket of popcorn. Stay away from the concession stand that's been supposedly shut down by the health department, but they do plan on reopening it by the time they have their next game there. So just be careful at Anaheim Stadium. Blue Catskill says heard there was a robbery gang that hit the same night. Where, in her neighborhood or in Tucson? Lady Shore says, I'm sorry, sending wellness and better days ahead. Gosh, I hope so. 30 people. Wow. Everybody give me a thumbs up. I hope you're following me. I never thought I'd reach 1,000, never thought I'd reach 2,000 subs. And now I'm at like 2663. I mean, that's just for me. I mean, for a big YouTuber, well, now it's 2667. Wow, keeps going. Let's get that up to 3,000. And then I can just concentrate on videos more. Um, that just came out today, Lady Shore. Blue Catskill says in the Catalina foothills, you believe. We've had a lady that's come in here, a new friend to the channel, and she's in the Catalina foothills, and she didn't mention anything like that. Not that it didn't happen, but, this is a big, big case, and nobody's mentioned anything about robberies in Catalina foothills. This is the first I'm hearing of that. Okay, Kelly. Prayers for Ravioli the cat. Yeah, there are many rumors that are not true. Like the newest that Savannah um, is employment or connected through employment to the guy that went into the Washington Hilton a couple nights ago. And we won't talk about that particular violence or politics, but no, the guy's not her professional driver, and no, his wife is not her personal assistant. But so many people believe it. So many people believe that Kayla Day is the grandniece of Nancy Guthrie and the cousin once removed to Savannah. Not true. Kathy says, Blue, that is why I stick with April or Brian. Yeah, and if I make a mistake here, I'll correct it. The other night, this very nice viewer came in, Lori. She said she was a former flight attendant and used to fly into LAX at the time of the Ronnie Chasen case. And I was like, oh, yeah, that happened on Wilshire. And no, it happened at Sunset and Whittier. But, it's YouTube. Sometimes it's hard for me, especially late at night. That was a late night telecast. And I saw her come in 2 days later, and I'm like, hey, Lori, let me correct that. That was Sunset Boulevard westbound, turning south onto Whittier Drive. Matthew, we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case and a little baseball. We can always throw in a little baseball. That's okay. I'll let that. Anything regarding baseball will slide. Uh, Heck, I should just start a baseball channel, but there's not enough time in my life already. I'm gonna ignore that comment because I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Does anybody understand that comment? Oh, yeah, Blue. That's a very, very good point. She says, I see a new video every day of a fake confession or a bust, all non truth. It's a shame. Yeah, I see them all the time with the thumbnails where Tommaso, he's in handcuffs and he's wearing, jailhouse orange. None of it's true. Or if you turn on the video and you hear the AI robot talking, you already know, like, you're in trouble. Or if it's one of those, thumbnails. And there's so many people, especially older people that may suffer from dementia or Alzheimer's, and they see something like that and they just run with it. Oh, is that what that is? Is that drugs? Okay, yeah, we can't talk about that here. Shows you how much I know about that subject. Thank you, Kathy. Um, I wish I could, Pauline. That's the number thing I want to know about this case, other than where is Nancy? Can you explain the plants on the camera? He was trying to cover up the lens, but why not just go for the camera and yank it off its bracket? I can't explain that no more than I can explain why the police and the FBI chose to leave the front doormat at the door along with the frame or bracket that the Nest camera was attached to. Oh, thank you, Blue. The Sir Roman, please no talk. April doesn't allow that. Thank you. Constant made up videos. Those are for clicks. Remember when I started this, my channel had not ever even been remonetized yet. I am not doing this for the money. But the fact that it is monetized now and you guys can watch the videos and you guys can shop in the Amazon store, or for the few people that have sent me the Venmos, the PayPals, the Cash Apps, you know, it's all going to help me. But I'm not into this for the money. That is a green screen cactus. Yes. Oh, it does. Thank you, Blue. Yeah, I changed it up. Yesterday we had the one of Nancy's house with the drone in the background, which I never even saw the drone. A viewer pointed that out and said, "Is that a drone?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure." And then I went and I put that one up before that I had before of it's like the aerial view of the house, and there is a drone in the back. And I'm like, "Well, when was that taken?" Because that was a big drone, and it was just behind Nancy's property. And a viewer caught that in not in the thumbnail, but in the green screen that I used that day. Just realized your name and birth month are the same. Duh, watching almost 3 months. April 12th. But the whole month is my birthday. So that means I still have 2 days left of my birthday. Who is accusing somebody of being AI? You know what? No arguing in the chat. You've heard the rules. I'm totally confused here, but he's gone. But thank you for the click because I probably made like 2 pennies on that. Remember, we'll say the rules one more time. No politics, no religion, no bullying, although if it's directed towards me, I can handle it. And No harassing one another in the chat. I don't know what who that comment was. That if it was towards me, I don't care, but if it was towards one of the viewers in the chat, one of the participants, that is not acceptable. And cursing, that's not acceptable. I need to write a whole rule book now. Never had to do this before monetization, but it brings in all the knuckleheads. Thank you, Lady Shore. Yeah, that was actually gifted from a neighbor in the Hollywood Hills. And I have done a lot of work for Disney, but Disney did not give that to me. Never received a gift for any of the shows I've ever worked. Thank you. That might have been Mark the Shark's drone. Yeah, but that seemed to be, it's an older Google photo. So I guess if I could look it up on my desktop, I could see when that photo was taken where it looks like there's a drone in the back, but I'd have to refine that photo. Mm, Nobody accused you of this. We discussed fakeness, not you. Yeah, somebody called someone a dirty word here. Not acceptable. Thank you, Blue Catskill. I've got my mojo. Welcome back in. Haven't seen you in a while. Where have you been? Hopefully you've been watching the replays. I know I go on, for a lot of weird times. People could be sleeping or they could be cooking dinner or they could be at work. But thank you. I've got my mojo. So yeah, it's 88, day 88, and I'm not seeing any new leads coming in. I think this is Brian Enton's third trip to Arizona now. I'll have to see the interview that he did with the neighbor. Hey, Pauline, back again. Yeah, I do like to watch my other YouTubers, like my Alaska YouTubers and my reseller YouTubes, but I've been watching more of the true crime just to get the up-to-date information on this case. But I watch more of the mainstream ones. I don't really watch that much of the boots on the ground. Does anybody have anything? Is there anything breaking while I've been on the air? I always check right before I go on the air. I double and triple check to make sure that things are not like breaking in this case that I haven't heard about. But I'm just seeing the same old stories. It's kind of like following that MH370 for, how many years has it been now? 12 years. And the same stories just get rehashed and rehashed. And eventually this'll fade away. I mean, think about it. When was the last time that Savannah was even in Arizona or Cameron? Yes, I heard that the lady neighbor that Brian has recently interviewed again, that she's getting mail addressed to Brian Enton, and apparently it was a little bit on the strange side, and it's been handed over to the FBI, and the FBI actually came out to her house and took possession of those letters and said that they're working very, very hard to solve this case. Yeah, it was on Enton's channel. Yeah. Yes, they were addressed to Brian. It happens. It brings out all the weirdos, this case. Look at all the people that have come here. Most of you guys, 99% of you are wonderful participants, but we do get the ones that we have to take out. And I have gotten some really bizarro emails on this. Like, didn't expect that. Didn't expect to get the amount of emails that I got. I didn't expect to all of a sudden have a new identity. I'm April Davis PI, and before that I was just April Davis. So now I'm April Davis Platt. Please stop it, people. But I do thank you for your beautiful cards and letters. Exactly, but it seems like they were weird. And if I got any letters like that, I would just forward them to the FBI as well. No, I do not. I live in Los Angeles, California. I'm a licensed California private investigator. I just put this back in respect for Nancy. Put a nice Tucson background in. Exactly, Jay. The more popular you get, the more weird stuff you will get. It's like, and I'm not a celebrity, never would be or would want to be, but the celebrities that get in the National Enquirer or Star Magazine and they get all upset, like, hey, I'm going to sue them and that's not me. And, you know, you're relevant. You're in National Enquirer. You're in a rag sheet. Be thankful you're relevant. Oh, thank you so much. Pauline says, weird in what way? Inappropriate, just weird stuff that comes in. And I think that was the tone to the Brian Enton letters that came to the neighbor's house. He even apologized to her, like, "Hey, I'm sorry," and she was fine with it. But obviously, she must have opened them because she called the FBI. It wasn't a case of, "Hey, Brian, I got some letters for you." No, like she called the FBI and they came out to her house and they confiscated them. Nope. Sometimes I have the LA background a lot. I just started using the green screen recently, but I'll have like downtown LA or I'll have the Santa Monica Pier. We've been to Santa Monica, LA, the lake at Echo Park. We've been to Paris, been to Tucson, been over the roof of Nancy's house. Just keep watching. I'll have to go find some more to change it up a bit. But this is such a pretty one. Oh, okay. Forgot it was a green screen already. I worked all day running a zero-turn mower, so I am beat. Okay. Put up Morro Bay. Yeah, Morro Bay is beautiful. The big rock. Well, thank you. Now, there were some people that were writing me protesting it, saying, I don't like the background now. The Partridge Family house. You know what? The actual facade, because there is no real Partridge Family house, the facade, it was just torn down because it was part of the Columbia Ranch facility, which then reverted to the Warner Ranch facility, and it's one of the most famous lots in town, and they've just torn it all down. It's been flattened. It was all termite infested. It was flattened, and so we lost the vacation home. They saved the Friends Fountain. Um, we lost I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, The Partridge Family, everything. Christmas Vacation House, like all that, Lethal Weapon House, all of that just went flattened. And they have built brand new, gigantic sound stages, which they're going to now rent back to Warner. It's going to be owned privately now. And I've never seen a lot that size go up that quickly. Like if they really want to build something quick, they can. And but yeah, the ranch facility is no longer. It's right behind where I live. Oh, these are just my readers. I don't need regular glasses or contacts anymore, but I can't see anything up close due to 4 eye surgeries. The Statue of Liberty. That's a good one. And how many people know that Statue of Liberty that everybody goes to New York to see? I've seen it many times, but from the top of buildings. Um, I've never actually been on the property, but that Statue of Liberty actually sits in waters that's owned by the state of New Jersey. All that of the neighborhood was just dying, especially my friend, because my friend, one of her daughters was on a TV show. Um, and they actually had a couple of sound stages, very older sound stages, because most of the sound stages are at the main lot in the south part of Burbank, where you see Walton's Mountain. That's really Mount Toluca, and but a lot was filmed at the ranch facility, and that's the facility where David Cassidy got mad once at Bonaducci or Danny Bonaducci. I've seen or met both of them and in my life, and Danny kept messing up the lines, and David just grabbed the handle of the bus and closed the door, and he took the bus off the lot, drove to a Burger King, and bought burgers for the entire crew. And he got in a lot of trouble for that because the bus was not insured, and he drove it off the ranch facility. Oh, nice. Sounds like you're living the dream. Congratulations on your success. Well, thank you. The ginger guy, you remember him from TV? Yeah, Danny's actually, he's pretty cool. Uh, David is no longer with us, but his brother lives right down the street from me, who I've never met. And he was the sexy brother, little Ryan. Danny's a riot. Now, it's very sad, though, to hear that Danny kind of screwed up in his marriage with Gretchen because he hit a home run with her and he kind of blew it from what I've heard. But, life moves on. He's not a friend of mine. Actually, he's recovering. He's had a very serious illness. He lives in Seattle now, Danny does. Yeah, David, he actually did it because he was mad because he'd have to ride around in a circle on the lot and then pull up. And unlike most TV shows that are multi-camera, it wasn't. It was a single camera film. So they have to film everything, like the Brady Bunch, like a zoom shot and then a wide shot. It's filmed like a movie in pieces. It was not a multi-camera formatted show, and it was on location. And they weren't actually in the studio on the soundstage. They were out on location at the Warner Ranch facility, which then was the Columbia Ranch facility. And that's where you would see Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, and I mean, oh, the list just goes on and on and on. Do your research on that one. It's just amazing. But my friend, her kids like grew up on the ranch lot. It's so cool. It was really sad to see it all go down, and the big old, bulldozers came out and just flattened it in a matter of weeks. And all that history. But no, I haven't thought about putting the Partridge Family bus because that wouldn't have anything to do with LA or with this case. So oh, no, they didn't get residuals back then. That was years ago. Now, the Friends people, they get 20 million a year in residuals. They don't even need it. Yeah, the Bewitched house is gone. I Dream of Jeannie house is gone. Vacation house is gone. Lethal Weapon house is gone. The Friends fountain, though, they did save it. They took it to the main lot. That's been saved. But yeah, we'll have to come up with some more either Tucson or LA thumbnails. That's what I've heard, Jay. But I haven't seen David since I was 6. And I haven't seen Danny probably since the late 80s. That's just a year. That's on top of what they've already made. That's 20 million a piece just on royalties. But the Partridge Family and shows like Brady Bunch, they only got paid for the first 5 or 6, and then the royalties. That's why all the SAG after people go on strike all the time to boost up the royalties. So, well, hopefully you guys are going to watch a lot of my videos between today and tomorrow because maybe as early as May 21st, I'll get my first royalties check from your views since my remonetization. So if anybody wants to send a super chat or watch a video later and send a super thanks, just watch, or just go to the playlist and just hit play it on loop. Do it because after May 1st, it'll all roll over to a new month. And the soonest I would see anything from that is June 21st. So hopefully we just keep building here. Share the channel. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the thumbs up. Hype the videos. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do with 20 million. I just need to pay my medical bills. I need a couch that doesn't have a broken spring that I'm sitting on right now. I need a new bed, a new mattress, a new tie bed. Even my kitchen garbage can is broken. For some reason, the cat is terrified. I think she tried to jump in at one time and the lid went like that. And every time I take the garbage out, she just flips out. Um, yes, he is the half brother of David Cassidy. He was kind of cute too, but not as cute as Ryan. Yeah, there was David through Evelyn, and then there was Sean, Patrick, and Ryan through Shirley Jones and Jack Cassidy. And I've seen Shirley a lot, and she looks fabulous. She's in her 90s now. She's one of those that, like Barbara Eden. I've seen her a lot too. She'll just like live forever and never age and still look great. She looks great. Barbara Eden looks great. Heck, even Barbara Feldon, who played Agent 99. Yes, for real. She looks great. You don't need to send me any money. Just watch the videos. Hype the videos, watch the videos, share the videos, subscribe to the channel. You don't need to send money. You can just watch. That's how I'm going to make it on YouTube. If people are going to watch the videos, I will make it. If people aren't, and I'm going to just have to rely on the super chats and the super thanks, then I'm not going to make it. And then we're going to have to look into something different. Yes, Barbara Eden is still alive. Now, I haven't seen her in years. I think the last time I saw her was at a Hollywood show. And she always gives me a big smile, even though I've never met her. I used to look good but got old. That's how I feel about myself. I'm not it was cancer that did it to me. I'm sure you look better than you think. I am not buying the whole Savannah stalker theory. I believe he would kidnap Savannah if he was obsessed, not her mom. Savannah has a tremendous amount of private security around her. It would be very, very difficult to pull that off with her, her husband, or her children. Her mother, not so much. She was basically left wide open. And I'm not quite sure why that is. Yeah, that should have never been allowed to happen. She didn't even have a subscription on her Nest doorbell, which I'm sure if Savannah knew that, she would have paid for it. Yeah, she's an 84-year-old woman who was immobile or limited mobility who lived in a house alone in a very dark, secluded neighborhood with no street lights due to the animal migration regulations. And the houses don't sit close to each other. They don't sit close to the street. In LA, the house sits right on the curb. If there's a car accident, they'll come right through your living room window. That neighborhood is not like that, and it's a maze. We have a local that's come in here who's befriended the channel now. Blue Catskill says perhaps there was a safe. I've talked about that many times. Perhaps there was a safe in Nancy's containing Savannah's savings. There could have been something in there because whoever was in the house, at least we know there was at least a 41-minute time span that someone was in that house. I don't know where that is. Is that Arizona? I used to live in Yavapai County. Is that Arizona? Yeah, we still don't know the motive. Revenge? Money? The Savannah factor? We still don't know what's going on here. Oh, it's in Arizona. Okay. And now with the weather changing, you know, if they did have a tip, they wouldn't even be able to put boots on the ground in this type of weather. This should have been solved in the first week. Near Prescott. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard wonderful things about Prescott, Arizona. Yeah, the forest, the northern part of Arizona where they have, the higher elevations and the mountains is just gorgeous. Yeah, well, we're still waiting on that new DNA that was being wasted at that lab in Florida for 12 weeks. It's not new DNA. It's not a new piece of evidence. It's just an older piece of evidence that's now being transferred. Kathy says she's never been to Arizona. I've been there a few times, but mostly just to pass through. Although I was in Phoenix once for a seminar, but that was probably, I don't know, 2014, 2015. That was a lifetime ago for me. It was nice. I noticed that it was very clean. The city was very clean. I love California. I wouldn't live anywhere else, hopefully. I mean, I wouldn't want to. I've lived here most of my life, but I've also lived lots of other places. So yeah, I'm a diehard Angelino. Well, we got 85 minutes on this, and we only talked about three things today: the 911 calls not being released, the second FBI profiler who knows or claims that she knew her abductor, and the little incident that happened yesterday in front of her house with a James demanding to speak to a Brian Guthrie. Not a whole lot of news. Okay, everybody, if something breaks on this case, I will be happy to go live. But if not, the earliest I'll probably see you would be tomorrow. Just depends. Thank you for coming, everybody. I love you all. Have a good night.